Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and right now I'm joined by Dustin Poirier on behalf of Celsius Energy. To start things off here, Dustin, what can you tell us about the partnership with Celsius, the product overall, and your work with Celsius?
Yeah, great product. Me and my wife, all my friends, family members, we all drink Celsius, and we have been drinking Celsius for a long time before the partnership was even announced. So it's part of my everyday life. I drink Celsius every day pretty much.
Do you usually drink Celsius before a workout, after a workout, or when you're lounging at home, or when you find yourself drinking Celsius most of the time?
Before workouts for sure. Before I'm about to jump into a meeting right now. I have some people in this building behind me. I'm about to go sit down in a meeting and drinking one right now. I drink them all, two a day, almost every day.
What's your favorite flavor that's kind of the go-to when you drink Celsius every day?
My go-to flavor is cola. I know a lot of people don't know about cola, but that's the one for me. But I also like mixed berry, orange, um, fantasy vibe. They got a bunch of good ones out, man. But cola is mine.
Obviously, I want to get to some fight questions as well, and I think a big question that a lot of people have, fans, pundits, media, is how are you doing right now? Where are you at physically, mentally, emotionally after UFC 291, and as you look ahead to your potential return?
Still digesting it, man. Even though it's been a couple weeks, still digesting it. Losses suck, and especially when I felt like everything was going well. Felt like I won the first round. I was getting into a rhythm. I thought every round after one was going to be worse and worse for him. I would just start picking him apart. I thought, but that's mixed martial arts, and anything can happen at any moment. Um, Beautiful same side cross high kick he threw at a perfect angle. I was only able to get one arm up between us because I kind of caught the kick at the last second. The shin hit my forearm, but the foot wrapped around the side of my head and got me behind the ear good. And that's a wrap. That was a kill shot, and it just sucks, man. Because I see it happen every week. There's a fight card every week. I see something happen. I'm like, damn, how to get hit with that? It just sucks when you're on that side of it. Especially in a fight of that magnitude. It was a huge fight, and I thought I was gonna win. I thought I was better. I was in incredible shape, and I was ready for 5 rounds.
What's kind of the process for you in terms of how you handle losses, kind of how you bounce back, and compared to earlier in your career, you've dealt with the highs, lows, and everything in between in fighting. Kind of talk to us a little bit about that in terms of how you process defeat.
Um, the 3 R's, man. That's the process. You recover, you reflect, and you reignite. If you want to. But recover and reflection is first and foremost. I let my body recover, then I reflect on what I could have did better, what I did do good, what I did bad, just the whole thing. Kind of digest everything and let the smoke clear a little bit. Thoughts and everything's crazy right after a fight. So many emotions. Kind of let that settle and just reassess and see where I'm at, see where my family's at, what I should do, how I should process it. But I do that and then get right back in the gym and kind of drown out the voices and the opinions and all the everything that comes with fighting at this level when the whole world's watching. And I just get back to sweating, back to training, and weeks and weeks go by of training, and then whatever next is when I hear the name or when I get an idea and I know it's right, that's what I go with. So I'm still in that process right now, honestly.
When you look at a potential trilogy with Justin Gaethje, do you kind of look at that as a fight that has to happen pretty much before the time that both of you retire? Or how are you kind of looking at a potential trilogy between the two of you?
I mean, we both knocked each other out. I knocked him out. He knocked me out. I think we need to do it again.
What's kind of your plan right now in terms of a timeline for return? What's next? And is there a specific opponent that you're targeting at all? What's kind of the latest on that?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I do believe I'll fight again this year. It just needs to be another name like Gaethje, something that gets me excited. Whenever they sent the contract and they said Gaethje's name, I knew that this outcome was a possibility. Um, I thought it was going to be a lot different fight. I thought it was going to be a battle, but I knew that this was a possibility. So whenever I get a name that makes me feel the way Justin's name made me feel because of his fighting style and how dangerous he is, then I'll know that's the right name. But until then, like just looking at the list, I don't know. Nothing's really exciting, and I'm doing this because I want to. I don't have to fight anymore. So that's another thing, like I want to be excited about the fight if I'm going to do it.
If the UFC came to you and potentially pitched that Beneil Dariush fight again, he's the only guy in the lightweight top five who you haven't faced yet. What would be your level of interest in terms of facing Beneil Dariush and taking that fight by the end of the year?
I do have a lot of motivation to. I want to jump back in there and fight so I can win because I'm a winner, man. And losing sucks. I hate to sit on losses. It eats at me. But just you right now, you saying his name, I haven't really thought about it, but you saying his name doesn't get me excited. Mm. But if the UFC calls me right after we hang up this phone call and they say, "Hey, we want to book you in Beneil," I'll see how I feel then. That's when I'll know.
Talk to me long term in terms of your post career aspirations. Obviously, you still have a lot of work left to do in the octagon, and you're feeling great. And you mentioned how this was the best weight cut you've ever had. What can you tell us, though, about in terms of your post career aspirations? Would you ever consider going to fight promotion or coaching? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I do enjoy coaching guys who are established and like have a good base already. They don't have to be fighting professionally or at the highest level, but I don't. It's not a passion of mine of building guys. Not yet, anyway. Man, things change, but building people who don't know anything about fighting, like starting from a blank slate, that's never been a passion of mine. People who understand fighting a little bit, I love to add to their games. I have almost 50 fights now, and I've learned a lot on both sides, on the mat competition side and also the outside business side. So I feel like I have a lot to offer to younger guys and people who are fighting. But we'll see. I'm always in the gym helping younger guys. I'm even in the gym helping guys who are world champions. So that is a passion of mine, but I've never been a coach. So we'll see. I have no clue.
Could you see yourself potentially in the future entertaining a possible boxing match and checking that off your list before you decide to potentially retire?
Yeah, I love boxing, and I feel like that's one of my best attributes.
Did you get a chance to watch Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence? What did you think of it?
Yeah, so I had to rewatch it. Obviously, it was the same night, and I knew I was kind of leaning towards Crawford, but man, dude, he's so good, so good.
I gotta ask you, obviously you and Conor McGregor have a lot of history, fought each other 3 times during your careers, and obviously right now Conor McGregor's working towards a UFC comeback and he's not in the USADA testing pool. What have you made about his absence from the USADA testing pool, and do you feel like it could potentially impact the integrity of the UFC?
I like USADA, and I do think they're doing a good job of cleaning up our sport. But it just for me, if they waive that and allow him to compete with no drug testing, it kind of just makes a joke of the whole thing. We just remove it completely. There shouldn't be gray areas. It's white and black with USADA. You take tests, you pass them, you're able to compete. You don't take tests, you don't compete. There was never a gray area before, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm not shitting on the UFC. I'm not shitting on USADA, but I don't want to like accuse or say things about either company without them making an official decision yet. I don't know what they're going to do with Conor and the drug testing thing. But if they do allow him to compete without drug testing, they're making a whole joke of USADA.
Do you think that this whole USADA controversy could impact Conor McGregor's legacy in any way in terms of if he is found using any prohibited substances or performance enhancers?
I don't know if I'm sure it would if he got busted for using steroids. But also he was in the USADA protocol when he was doing great things. So he was passing tests when he was still, making incredible things happen in the octagon. So that's tough to say. It depends the person looking in from the outside. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say if that would happen, I'm sure a lot of people are going to say it does. I'm sure a lot of people are still going to stand behind him. So it is what it is.
Obviously, I got to ask you about a big UFC headliner going on this weekend, UFC 292, Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling. How do you see that playing out? And give us kind of a breakdown of that fight.
I think if Aljo can get his hands on Sean, I do think he's gonna dominate him there. But Sean's long, has great timing, has awkward striking. Um, so we'll see. I think Aljo, obviously, we all think the same thing. Aljo's going to try to take him down, try to get his hands around his body, try to body lock him. Um, Sean's going to try to stay on the outside, use his length and speed, timing to pick apart Aljo. So whoever accomplishes the game plan, I think that's who's going to win. But I'm leaning for sure. I'm leaning towards Aljo.
Once again, I really do appreciate the time, Dustin. And before we wrap things up here, I want to give you the platform to shout out the Good Fight Foundation and what you have coming up in terms of events with the foundation, where people can check it out. And I know you recently did back to school and backpacks and all that in the area, so kind of talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, about a week ago we did backpack school drive pickup. It's our third annual back to school drive we did. It was a great success. Up next, right away, we have a St. Jude's 5K in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're sponsoring St. Jude's 5K again this year. We did it last year. That's in September. Then I'm sure we're going to have something in between, but November we have Thanksgiving meals for families in need. That's going to be a big deal we're doing here in Louisiana. We've done it a couple years now in a row. We'll probably have at least 500 full meals, ham, bread rolls, greens, a pan to bake everything in, first come, first serve, pick up. We'll announce all that stuff as it gets closer.
Dustin, thanks again for the time. Really do appreciate it. It was great to meet you, great to chat with you, and I'm sure our paths will definitely cross in the future. And thank you so much for the time, man. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, man.